The monster is Clark. Everyone who watched this movie tried to guess the monster. Nobody guessed the truth, because the monster is the main character, and he dies without ever realizing it. This is Backrooms, a 24's 2026 horror hit, and the proof is hiding in a cheap pirate commercial you were meant to laugh at and forget. Meet Clark. His store is dying, his marriage is over, and he's about to open a door in his basement that shouldn't exist. Remember the pirate. You'll want to. That door leads into the back rooms. Endless yellow rooms, buzzing lights, no way out, and something's hunting people in the halls. The film teases that thing for an hour. A shape in the dark, a scream down a corridor. You assume it's some classic backrooms creature. It isn't. Near the end, Clark goes to untie his therapist, Mary. He reaches for the ropes, and the thing steps through the door behind him. It's the pirate, a rotted, twisted version of his own store mascot. It tears into his neck while she watches. The thing that kills Clark is Clark. Now go back and freeze that commercial. The peg leg, the hat. That's not a mascot. That's the monster's silhouette, planted 40 minutes early. But here's the part that reframes the whole film. Clark felt more in control inside that maze than anywhere in his real life. Up here, his business and his marriage were falling apart. Down there, he knew every hallway. So the place gave that feeling a body. It built a monster out of his ego. The backrooms didn't just trap Clark, it became him. And his pirate isn't the only human-shaped thing down there. The hallways are full of them. And what they actually are isn't a monster problem. It's a memory problem. The creatures are broken copies of you. They're everywhere once you start looking. Twisted, human-shaped things drifting through the halls. You assume they're ghosts or demons. They're neither. The movie calls them still lifes. And here's what they really are. The Backrooms tries to rebuild the people who pass through it, but it's working from a broken memory, so the copies come out wrong. Almost human, the right shape, a face, 2 arms, a body. Then something's off in a way that crawls under your skin. A face sliding the wrong direction, limbs at angles that shouldn't hold. That's the real horror here. It isn't alien, it's familiar, rebuilt badly. And this comes straight from Kane Parsons' web series, the shorts that made the Backrooms famous online. This place doesn't hate you, it's trying to remember you, and it's terrible at it. Now look at the maze itself, the office carpet, the dead fluorescent lights, that sick yellow wallpaper you can't unsee. None of it is a real place. It's the memory of an office, assembled by something that only half understands what an office is, close enough to feel normal, wrong enough to feel sick. So the whole dimension is one enormous failing photocopy of reality. Every hallway, every room, a bad copy of somewhere that once existed. And that flips everything you just watched. The still lifes aren't invaders. They're the maze doing its best, reaching for people and getting them horribly wrong. Which raises a question the movie saves for its very last shot. If this place copies everyone who walks in, what happens to the ones who walk back out? Hold on to that. It pays off and it's brutal. But first, someone filmed all of this. There are cameras in the walls, and who's behind them comes down to one word: MRI. Async used to make MRI machines. Async. That's the company all over this film. Cameras in the walls, scientists in hazmat suits, and for most of the runtime, you have no idea who they are. Then Phil, one of their people, drops a single line that explains everything. Async didn't start as dimension explorers. They built MRI machines. Sit with what an MRI does. It maps the inside of your body using magnetic fields. It takes something hidden, your brain, and turns it into an image. That's the whole job, scanning the space inside a skull. So a company that spent years imaging brains stumbled onto something that behaves like a brain, and they fell right in. Nobody planned it. They opened a machine and found a world. That's the key to the entire movie. Phil says it flat out. The Backrooms is an echo chamber for memory. It's not a building, it's not really a dimension, it's a mind. One enormous, broken, remembering mind. And suddenly the still lifes make sense. The failed copies. The offices that feel almost right. That's exactly what a memory looks like from the inside, when the thing holding it is coming apart. Async went hunting for a brain to scan. They found the biggest one imaginable. And they're not trying to shut it down. They want to map it, use it, and sell it. Here's the part that should worry you. Phil admits the doors are opening everywhere, not just Clark's basement. In the web series, one tears open on a highway and swallows a moving car. So this thing is bleeding into our world, one door at a time. And the very first door anyone ever filmed? It opens on a date that shouldn't be possible, June 1990. Because in that footage, the monster is already there, before Clark ever arrives. The Dead Man's Tape and the 1990 paradox. The movie doesn't open on Clark, it opens on a dead man. The first thing you see is raw found footage. An async worker lost in the maze, filming himself as something stalks him down a hallway. It catches him, it kills him. Much later, Clark finds a duffel bag stuffed behind a hole in the wall. Inside, an async badge, and a stack of VHS tapes. That's a wink at the fans. Parsons' original series was literally called Found Footage. Clark is the guy who finds it. He recovers the tape that started this entire universe. Now here's where it breaks. That opening footage is stamped June 1990, and fans who went through it frame by frame spotted something. The monster in that scene reportedly already has a peg leg, the same peg leg as Captain Clark. Except Clark hasn't entered the maze yet. His pirate hasn't been born. That monster shouldn't exist in 1990, not before he ever walks through the door. So either the timeline is broken, or the Backrooms remembers Clark before he arrives. In a place made of memory, cause and effect stop meaning anything. And there's a reason the maze is suddenly crawling with cameras. According to Parsons' web series, Async had just faked the death of a researcher named Peter Tench. The place had pulled his mind apart, and they buried the story. They were terrified of a repeat, so they watched everything, every hall, every corner. Which means Clark never stumbled into an empty maze. He walked into a trap already set, cameras rolling, scientists waiting, a place braced for a man exactly like him. He just didn't know it. Every step he took, someone was recording. And the one person who does survive this place, her secret is hiding in a small slab of concrete. Mary's handprint in the newspaper windows. Through the whole film, Mary keeps staring at a small piece of cement. You barely register it. It sits on her desk, her nightstand. She touches it like it matters. It does. It's the reason she's still alive. The flashbacks explain why. Mary's mother was a shut-in. She papered over every window in the house with newspaper. She never let Mary go outside. Not once. Picture that childhood. A sealed box. No windows, no exits. Just walls and buzzing light. Sound familiar? Mary grew up in a back room. She'd already survived one before the movie even started. The maze wasn't new to her. It was home. When the city tore her old home down, she saved one thing from the driveway. A handprint pressed into wet concrete. Hers and her mother's, side by side. A piece of the only world she ever knew. And in the final chase, the pirate is bearing down on her. That slab of cement becomes the weapon. She swings it. She drives the thing back. She lives. Let that land. The thing that scarred her is the thing that saves her. Her past, literally, is what she swings to stay alive. There's a hidden bonus here too. The company demolishing her home is called Reverchon Ventures. That's a quiet nod to another Kane Parsons world, The Oldest View. A completely separate rabbit hole, tucked behind this one. But look at the two people at the center of this movie. Clark's monster was his ego, and it killed him. Mary's weapon was her grief, and it carried her out. Same maze, two opposite endings. And yet the movie has one more trick for Mary. Because she beats the monster, she runs, she breaks free. And beating the monster is not the same as leaving the backrooms. There are two Marys. Mary beats the monster. Mary runs. Mary gets out. And here's the ending almost everyone misreads. The second she escapes the maze, a team of Async scientists grabs her. Hazmat suits. No explanation. They haul her to a facility. Phil sits her down and questions her. She asks the only thing that matters. What happens to me now? He gives her 5 words. That's not up to me. Then the film does something quietly vicious. The camera pulls back. It drifts down, through the layers of the maze. And there she is. A still life. A distorted copy of Mary. Already down there. Already built. It didn't wait for her to die. It made her twice. Remember the question from earlier? What happens to the people who walk back out? This is your answer. The Backrooms copied Mary while she stood inside it. She walked out. Her copy stayed. So there are 2 Marys now. One in a cold room, being told her fate isn't hers to decide. One trapped in the maze forever. A broken echo of a woman who thought she made it. The movie never says she escaped. It says she survived the monster. Those were never the same thing. And Async isn't letting her leave either. Phil as good as admits it. She's seen too much. She's a loose end now. Think back to where we started. Everyone tried to guess the monster, and the monster was the man. Now the survivor walks free, and a copy of her is buried in the dark. That's the real trick of the Backrooms. It doesn't invent your nightmare. It reads you. It remembers you. And then it keeps a version of you that never gets to leave. You walked in. Something else walked out wearing your face.